Okay, so now we're going to have a look at finding and calculating the longest side length, the hypotenuse, with harder values. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the same thing that I always do every single time, is I first label my A and B, so they're my two shorter sides, and just to show that it doesn't matter which order it is, this time I'm going to call this side B and this side A. The only one that matters is the C. It's the long one. It's the hypotenuse. So this one here is C. Now I can see that it's a right angle triangle because I've got my right angle symbol there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out Pythagoras' theorem's formula. So every single time, until you've done about 1,000 of these, make sure that you're writing the equation down, the formula down each and every time. It will help you remember, it will help you commit it to long-term memory. And so when you come around to an exam, you'll just instantly recall it. It won't be a problem. Okay, so A plus B equals C, and everything is squared. Okay, so A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute in my numbers. So I'm substituting in for A, I'm substituting in 7. So I swap the A for 7. I swap the B for 5. And the C is just C because I don't know it yet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the squared bits on the numbers, which I can get rid of nice and easily. So I get 49 and 25 equals C squared. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this addition here because it's nice and easy again. That's 74 equals C squared. Now I need to square root that 74, okay? Now, those of you who know your square numbers reasonably well will know that 64 is 8 squared, and you'll know that 81 is 9 squared. So the problem is that you've got 74, which is somewhere in the middle. So it's going to be about 8 point whatever. So yes, a little bit awkward, but fear not. With Pythagoras, you will always have a calculator to be dealing with it, you know, unless it's going to be integer values and the easy numbers. So as soon as it's difficult numbers, say this was 7.2 and 5.3, you'll just have a calculator anyway. Let the calculator deal with it. You don't need to worry about it yourself, you know, trying to work these things out. So what this is going to equal is when I type it into the calculator, it's going to give me 8.60232527. Yeah, well, we don't want to have to write all that lot down. So when you see that appear in your calculator, you'd look back to the question again and see, what does it ask for? Does it ask for 1 decimal place, 2 decimal place, 3 significant figures, whatever? So in this instance, I'm just going to go to 1 decimal place. So what's going to happen is I'm going to round this to 1 decimal place. So I look at the first decimal place, which is 6. I look at the second one, the one after it, that's 0. So that's not 5 or more, it's less than 5. Therefore, I just round all that off. I just ignore all of it. It's too small and insignificant for me to care about. So I go 8.6 centimeters or meters or whatever it may be. Okay, and that's it. So when it's dealing with harder numbers, when it's dealing with numbers which don't square root nice and easily, you can always just reach for the calculator and let the calculator work it out for you. Now then, those of you who are, you know, confident with algebra, confident in science and things like that, where they'll rearrange a formula perhaps first, what we can do is we could actually rearrange this so that we have C on its own straight away. Okay, so what you can do is you could get rid of the squaring the C term here, and you could instantly go for square root of A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, and you can type that into your calculator as well. So if you've got a reasonably good scientific calculator, like one of the ones we recommend, then what happens is you can press your square root button. I would personally suggest that you put brackets around it, but not always essential. And you do A squared plus B squared, close your bracket. And what will happen is if you've got one of the newer models, this square root symbol will go all the way across the top of your bracket as well. So you know that everything within that bracket is going to be square rooted at the end. And then basically you type in, instead of instead of this that you'd be typing into your calculator, 7 squared plus 5 squared, you would type square root brackets 7 squared plus 5 squared, close your brackets, equals, and that straight away will give you what C is equal to. So that will jump you straight to the answer there. Only use that if you are really, really confident and happy with it. If that's confusing you in any way, shape or form, just do it the longhand. You still get all the method marks for doing it this way anyway. And until you've built your confidence up, just hang fire on trying to take shortcuts and things. But I just wanted to show you, for those of you who I know will be able to handle the algebra a little bit easier perhaps, and you're ready for the next step, really. Okay. What I'll do next is we'll have a look at finding a shorter side length, because obviously you might not always have the long side length. Okay, good luck.